What makes a game bad? It's a question for the ages that even Nietzsche or other philosophers couldn't answer. But I'm gonna quote another great philosopher: "Another man's trash is another man's treasure." That's what Macklemore, I don't, told us, and in a way, he's not wrong. I have played many games that other people considered bad, that I personally enjoyed a lot. I'm sure you did too. There's a lot of examples if we take a look at this little site called Metacritic. Metacritic basically takes review scores from all around the internet and calculates a number that basically shows you what people gave the game on average. Many people say it's an useless site, and in my opinion it kinda is, and it can even hurt the developers. For example, the developers of New Vegas Fallout would have gotten a bonus for reaching a Metacritic score of 85, but sadly they only gotten 84. Life is cool sometimes. But many people use the site to see if a game is worth buying. Everything under 80 is basically considered trash by some. Many cult classic games like Nier or the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games on the DS have a rather low Metacritic score despite the love most people have for them. Sometimes it's best to try out a game for yourself instead of letting other people think for yourself. But it makes sense since not everyone wants to spend so much money on something uncertain. But obviously sometimes just because a game got a high rating too doesn't mean you will like it. In the end we will all make mistakes, and that's just life again. Sometimes you hit and sometimes you miss. I looked at the worst Wii games on Metacritic and played them for a bit to see if they really deserve these ratings in my opinion. If you're a boomer, this is a racing franchise you probably have heard of, mostly an arcade game, but also had some entries on the Nintendo 64. It has a Metacritic score of 25 based on 7 reviews, and I have to say, I was surprised. At first the game feels kind of really bad and trashy, but it's really addicting the more you play it. It's really simple because you just put your foot on the gas pedal and go vroom by turning a remote sideways and then either just steering left or right. The tracks also have different ways you can take, which gives them some real playability. Also, every time you get first place you get a half-naked woman doing a little dance as a reward. What more could you ask for? It looks like shit, but for me graphics are really not that important, and it really made me interested in the Switch Cruis'n game, so maybe I should get that one. It is for sure not the worst racing game on the Wii with a Metacritic score of only 25. I don't know, it deserves more. I think this is one of those cases where the game looks like poop and people were like, yeah, looks like poop, let's give it a poop rating. Game Party 1 and 2. You can probably also guess what kind of games Game Party 1 and 2 are. Yep, party games. And both games are in the top 15 of the worst Wii games. But to be honest, it's just a bunch of mini games that don't even control that badly, except darts. But darts never work. Even darts in 25 Clubhouse games on the Switch is terrible for me. Or maybe it's just me that sucks super duper hard in darts. Maybe someone should end my life by throwing a dart right between my eyes. For some reason, I played the trivia minigame for a bit too long, and yeah, it's just trivia, but I like quizzes. Even though the questions were way too Americanized. The menu from the first game looks kinda alright, but in the second game they somehow took away the little soul it had and it looked even more bare bones. Also, the characters you could choose from were pretty hecking ugly. Should have allowed you to use Mies instead. It's hard to judge a party game all by myself, but just for the sake of being a party game I have to agree with the low scores because I don't have friends to play it with, so fuck you party games, don't make me play with friends that I don't have. Game Party 1 has a score of 25 and 2 got 29, a respectable increase of 4 points. Jenga World Tour. Yeah, it's Jenga. What else is there to say really? Why anyone would ever want to play real Jenga on a console is a mystery to me. Unless you want to be able to roleplay as a Jenga man or a slot machine with a cowboy hat. Or also a goldfish. The game kinda works if you want to play Jenga like games on the Wii. But, if you want to play Jenga on the Wii, you should play the Blox games. A game that pretty much is Jenga and more, made by Steven Spielberg for some reason. It's the best thing he has ever created. I'm not a big movie fan. It made me miss family board game evenings, and for that it deserves its bad rating. A score of 26. It's also the amount of Pepsi Max cans I have drunk this year so far. I'm not addicted. Normally there should be Looney Tunes, Acme Arsenal here, and also Golden Compass, but I'm gonna be honest here. I didn't play these two because my USB stick didn't have enough space on there anymore to fit them on with the rest of all the other games. I couldn't be bothered to delete some and then put these two on again after I did the other games, so I'm sorry, I'm kinda lazy. And that's also why the title is 13 and not 15, but also kind of 15, because 15 sounds better than 13. Nobody says top 13 games. Everyone goes like top 10, top 15. You get the drift, right? I've never watched Golden Pass anyway, so I can't really judge it too well. And whenever I think of Looney Tunes nowadays, I think of Big Chungus. I hate myself. Chicken Shoot, a poor man's version of Moorhuhn. Every European, or at least every German, knows what Moorhuhn is. You basically just shoot at chickens, and somehow it was the most viral video game here at one point. Every PC had it. There were tons of those games, and they even made one for the PlayStation 5 nowadays. It's fine for 2 minutes, and then you have basically seen everything the game has to offer. It has different levels, but nothing really changes. You could sell it for $5 on the WiiWare or any store, and I would still have felt like I got robbed. I feel bad for every poor soul out there that got this game by their grandma or granddad because they wanted to make little Timmy happy for Christmas and got them this game. The score of 27 fits since it makes me want to shoot myself 27 times with a water gun, because that's more fun, and maybe even a real gun. Sid the Dummy, or Cid the Dummy, a jump and one where you take the world as a crash dummy, which is basically a cool idea, but that concept already existed with the incredible crash dummies on the Mega Drive. And that game is probably better than this one, but I never played it, so. Which is what I could also say about this game. I played a bit of it and got stuck in the tutorial because it taught me something about the slide move, but I never figured out how to do it and said, yeah, fuck this one. I'm sorry for all these Sid the Dummy fans out there, I'm sure some exist, especially since they made another one of these for the Switch, Steam and PlayStation 4. Yippee! Maybe one day I will play that one, if it costs less than 5 cents. It has a score of 31 points, and that's also the amount of points I got off my driver's license test. So I failed, but I still drive, watch out. Pool Party. Just like the name says, it's a game about pool. Yeah, a pretty low quality one at that. You select your game mode, then the room. I picked some old abandoned factory, cause who doesn't love playing pool in one? Table, balls, I love balls, and your characters. They got some pretty dumb descriptions like Bull Mike. Better keep your wife safe from the bull. And yeah, that's kinda it. It works okay, but I'm sure there's some better pool games out there than this. The score is 32, weird, since it's also the number you get from all the balls added together. It's actually not, so I lied. I apologize, please forgive me. I'm bad at math. Please, I hate math. Worst subject in school, I have to say it. I kinda suck at it. But, you know, I'm kinda good at other things, I think, I hope. There's some good things about me, I think. I hope. Again, sorry. Target Terror. I expected a normal light gun shooter, and instead I got one where the shootable characters are actually real life actors, if they're actually actors. Someone in the office probably called everyone into a room and gave them these really bad looking uncool outfits and told them, hey, do some cool shooting poses and stuff. There's also a chainsaw and a knife, and, you know, move around with them. Because that's what it looks like. Every stage also has some civilians that you're not supposed to shoot, but for some reason I felt like I should shoot them too. Except for the girls dressed in school uniforms. It has this really trashy vibes that it makes it kind of fun for at least one stage or two, but aside from that it's just kind of bad, and to reload your gun you have to aim away from the main screen towards the left or right and then press the shoot button. It makes your remote keep losing the signal to the DP, and I have no idea why they did it this way. Why not just make me press a single button without the aiming towards the left or right? It just ruins it. Without the schoolgirls it probably would have gotten less than 33 points. Transformers Dark of the Moon Stealth Force Edition. I've only watched the first new Michael Bay Transformers movie from Megan Fox back in the day, so I have no idea about the story, or whatever it is about, and I'm not a big fan of cars to begin with. It's a car vehicle shooting game where you just shoot at other cars and try to kill them or protect some things. At the start the controls feel pretty weird and poopy, but after a bit of getting used to them they're not extremely bad anymore, just still pretty bad. I looked at the user score ratings and one user said the Transformers don't even really transform into their real forms, so now I know why this game got such bad reviews. How do you make a Transformers game without what makes the Transformers Transformers? After reading that, even a score of 34 is a little bit too high. And if you really want to do something with the Dark Side of the Moon, listen to Pink Floyd's album about it. Please, that's way better than playing this game. King of Clubs, a mini golf game where you golf but it's mini. To me it's like the normal version of golf, since I am so small. Haha, I love making short jokes about myself. Sorry, shout out to all my fellow short people out there. We are gonna make it one day. Believe in yourself, because I believe in you too. The controls again are a bit bad, but not too terrible, but overall it just feels so low quality again. This is the problem most games here have in common. They all have this shovelware vibe of being made for old mobile gaming. Terrible title screens with no animations, bland fonts used, just this really ugly look that tells you everything you need to know already after seeing it for 1 second. I could see masochistic minigolf fans can enjoying it, but only if you really love minigolfing. I'm sure there's better minigolf games, and normal golf fans got Super Swing Golf or Panya Golfing, however you want to call it. Ayaya, let's go Weeps. Even as a non-golf fan, I really enjoyed that one. If you do 35 hole-in-ones, you get the same amount of points as this game got. Valhalla Knights Elder Saga. This one is really tough to judge after only around 20 minutes. It feels like a game that has potential, but in a very janky way. Slow combat and an overworld that looks like an old MMO that has been abandoned by its players. which is kinda true since the game had an online mode where you could join and request other people to join your game to go on quests together, taking quests from the main hub and then venturing outside into the game world. I started the game with episode 2 because for some reason episode 1 won't let you choose your female character for whatever reason. I also gave myself 1 strength and put everything into intelligence since I want to be a mage. Then the game starts with the worst scripted fight ever where a big dragon deals 0 damage to you while you deal like 2 to 4 damage each per hit, and then eventually it dies and I can start the Wii game just to realize I only have a knife or club and deal 1 damage while enemies deal 10 to 20 damage and I die because I fucked up my whole character. I guess even a mage should put more points into strength. I kind of thought I would start the game with a staff and a cool magic spell, but nope. Maybe one day I will give this one another shot. Like I said, it could have actual potential. With my level 1 strength, it would have taken me 35 hits to get as many points as this game. 35. Showtime Championship Boxing. This one was actual just bad. There's nothing good to say about this. I picked Punch Bag Pad and yeah, I got punched like a bag. You just swing your Wiimote around and you either hit or not, and yeah. Please, can I just play Wii Sports Box instead, please? It was the last one I played, so at this point, I was already a broken man of what I used to be, and just wanted it to be over. I would rather get punched in my face by Mike Tyson 35 times before I would give this game a rating of that. It should be 0. This game has nothing to be proud of. I hope the developers of this game live a nice life. George of the Jungle and the Search for a Secret. It was a fairly inoffensive jump and run from what I played, made for little kiddos and not for a real grown-up like me. I'm a true adult. But aside from that, can we talk about how much of a banger the theme song of George of the Jungle is? George of the Jungle, la 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 la. I hate myself. Since I played it, it's stuck in my head. I can't get it out anymore. Help me, please. I don't want to think about George anymore. Watch out for the tree, George. You're gonna crash. Please, no. I think I just died. There we have them, the 13 worst Wii games according to Metacritic. The only one that really surprised me was Cruis'n, and maybe Valhalla Knights. Aside from that, I can see why most of these got such bad reviews. They either were bad timed products for movies or shows, or just total shovelware. I also lost my mind a bit while playing them all, and sadly I won't ever be able to recover from it, because I also want to do a video like this about all the other consoles. God bless me, because I need someone's blessing. So maybe you want to bless me with a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and we can see each other next time, maybe on a nice romantic date, maybe if you want to go on one. Just asking, you know, but I take rejection really well, so it's fine if you don't want to.